The moment everything changed. Picture standing in a huge crowd while everyone stares at you, not because you're famous, but because they have never seen anyone who looks like you before. That was Yasuke's first day in Kyoto, Japan, in 1581. People flooded the streets just to see this tall, dark-skinned man walking through their city. The crowd got so big and so pushy that people actually got hurt trying to get close to him. Word traveled fast. It reached one of the most powerful men in Japan, the great warlord, Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga had fought hundreds of battles. He was nearly impossible to impress. But when he heard about this African man causing the whole city to go crazy, he had to see it for himself. When they finally met face to face, Nobunaga couldn't believe what he was seeing. He actually thought Yasuke had black paint on his skin. He ordered his men to bring water and cloths to scrub it off. The color didn't wash away. That was the moment Nobunaga realized this man was something truly extraordinary. That meeting changed both of their lives forever. Where did Yasuke come from? Here's the honest truth. Nobody knows for sure. History didn't bother recording who Yasuke was before he became famous. Historians have studied old texts for years and pieced together small clues. The best guess is that he came from East Africa, probably from the area that is now Mozambique or Ethiopia. We don't know his real name. We don't know his family. We don't know if he grew up in a village or a city. What we do know is that the world he was born into was dangerous. Trade ships from across the world came to East Africa, and where there was trade, there was also people taking advantage of others. At some point, powerful forces swept Yasuke far away from everything he had ever known. What Yasuke probably wanted. We can't know exactly what Yasuke dreamed about, but we can guess what any person in his situation would have wanted. He probably wanted to feel safe. He probably wanted to wake up each morning knowing his life was his own. He probably wanted people to see him as a real person, not just something strange to stare at. And deep down, he probably just wanted to belong somewhere, to find a place where people respected him for who he was. That feeling, wanting to belong and have purpose, is something every single one of us has felt. That's exactly why his story still matters today, 500 years later. How he ended up in Japan. A Catholic priest named Alessandro Valignano was traveling across Asia trying to spread Christianity. He was smart and well-connected, and he traveled with fancy gifts and attendants to impress powerful rulers. Yasuke was part of his group. When Valignano arrived in Japan in 1579, nobody had planned for what happened next. Yasuke became the most talked about person in the entire country overnight. Japan in 1581 was in the middle of a civil war. Warlords fought each other for land. Deals were made and broken overnight. Betrayal was everywhere. This was one of the most dangerous places on earth. And this is exactly where Yasuke walked in. Starting from zero. When Yasuke first arrived, he was not a warrior. He was a foreign man in a country that had never seen anyone like him. He had to learn everything from scratch. The Japanese language sounded like nothing he'd ever heard before. The customs were very strict. How you bowed, how you sat, how you talked to someone with more power than you. Every tiny detail mattered. Getting something wrong could be embarrassing at best and deadly at worst. But Yasuke paid close attention to everything. He learned the language surprisingly fast. People around him started noticing. This wasn't just an interesting-looking stranger. He was smart, calm, and capable. Then came the meeting that changed his life. Nobunaga asked to meet him personally. What he found wasn't just a physically impressive man. He found someone who was confident and respectful, someone who talked to him like a real person instead of shaking with fear. Nobunaga was impressed, and Nobunaga was the kind of man who acted fast when something impressed him. Becoming a samurai. What happened next is the most amazing part of this whole story. Yasuke became a samurai. Nobunaga didn't just keep Yasuke around as something interesting to show guests. He gave Yasuke real responsibilities. He gave him a sword. He gave him a steady income, something only true warriors received. He gave him a home inside his personal guard. By every definition that mattered in 16th century Japan, Yasuke was a samurai. This was huge. The samurai class was one of the most exclusive groups in all of Japan. It was built on bloodline, training, and culture. For someone who wasn't Japanese by birth to receive this honor, it basically never happened before. But Nobunaga didn't care about everyone else's rules. He saw talent where others only saw difference. And Yasuke had earned it. He had learned the discipline. He had shown strength and loyalty. He had built himself into something nobody could have predicted. An African samurai in feudal Japan. Life at the top. By 1582, things looked incredible for Yasuke. He traveled with Nobunaga as a trusted guard. He ate with him, trained with him, and even played board games with him. Historical records say Nobunaga genuinely liked Yasuke and treated him with a personal warmth he didn't show many people. Yasuke had done something almost impossible. He had walked into one of the most closed societies in the world as a total outsider and found a real place inside it. He had respect, he had purpose, he had a name people knew. For a man who had spent years being moved around the world with no control over his own life, this was everything. But the samurai world doesn't stay peaceful for long. The night everything fell apart. On June 21st, 1582, one of the biggest betrayals in Japanese history happened, and Yasuke was right in the middle of it. Nobunaga was staying at a temple in Kyoto with only a small group of guards. One of his most trusted generals, a man named Akechi Mitsuhide, chose that exact night to attack. Mitsuhide surrounded the temple with thousands of soldiers. The attack came early in the morning, fast and overwhelming. Fire spread everywhere. Nobunaga's guards fought hard, but were completely outnumbered. Nobunaga, trapped by flames with no way out, reportedly chose to take his own life rather than be captured by his enemy. Yasuke was there. He fought, but when the battle became impossible, he was captured by Mitsuhide's forces. Mitsuhide looked at Yasuke and made a strange decision. He said Yasuke was not Japanese and couldn't understand honor the way Japanese people did, so he couldn't be treated as a proper enemy soldier. He sent Yasuke to the Jesuit mission in Kyoto instead of killing him. In one single night of fire and betrayal, everything Yasuke had built was gone. What really matters? After the temple attack, Yasuke slowly disappears from the historical record. We don't know exactly where he went or how long he lived. History stopped following him. But here's what we do know. His story survived. For hundreds of years, small mentions of Yasuke sat in old letters and Japanese manuscripts that almost nobody read. Then slowly, researchers started piecing it together. Writers and historians paid attention, and the world realized what had been hiding in history all along. The African samurai was real. His story has since inspired books, films, and a Netflix animated series. Millions of people around the world now know his name. That's not a small thing for a man history almost completely forgot. What his story really means. Yasuke's story isn't just about a man who became a samurai. It's about what happens when a person refuses to let the world make them feel like nothing. He was taken from his home. He was moved across the world against his will. He walked into one of the most foreign and dangerous places on earth. People stared at him, tested him, and doubted him. And at every single point, he kept going. He kept learning. He kept showing up. He kept being fully himself until the world had no choice but to see him clearly. Yasuke proved that greatness doesn't come from where you were born or what you look like. It grows inside a person who refuses to quit, even when everything says they don't belong. He belonged. He proved it. And 500 years later, we're still telling his story. That only happens for legends. Before you go, if Yasuke's story got to you, there are more stories like this hiding in history, real people the world almost forgot, whose lives were more incredible than most movies. Hit like if you want more stories like this one. Subscribe so you never miss the next one, and drop a comment telling us who we should cover next. Every suggestion gets read. History is full of legends the world forgot. We're here to make sure that never happens again.